everyone. In this video, myself, Nehan, Nabeeha, and Eman will analyze the ways to leverage the power of global information technology and systems to address major aspects of the Nigerian flood natural disaster and to identify how the use of certain technology can provide relief to the victims. In this challenge, we would like to consider the recent Nigerian flood that took place in the fall of 2012. Nigeria is located in the Western Africa. The country is approximately 923,000 square kilometers, which is slightly more than twice the size of California. Nigeria is Africa's most populous country with over 174 million people, comprising over 250 ethnic groups. This natural disaster was considered to be the worst in the past 50 years occurring in Nigeria. Hundreds of thousands of people were displaced and the country suffered 140 casualties. Wild animals were also displaced and there were reports of looting, as people were forced to leave their houses. Nigeria was not at all able to predict this event. However, it could have been easily predicted with the current available technologies. One of the most critical technologies needed in every stage from assessment to recovery is remote sensing, gathering data about an object without physical contact. Here is where Nigerians could have invested in the Nigerian Remote Sensing (NRS) satellite program. NRS satellites can make up the largest remote sensing constellation for civilian use anywhere in the world. Nigeria can launch the Reset-2 simultaneously, a spy satellite with synthetic aperture radar (SAR) that allows for very fine spatial resolution in images. Reset-2 can see through thick cloud cover, rain, snow, fog, or even camouflage like foliage. This allows all-weather monitoring of movement across Nigeria and the neighboring countries. These technology combined would have easily predicted the Nigerian flood and is capable for disaster management support. So how do these satellites help with the disaster mitigation and preparedness? One way is through hazard zoning, mapping areas that are at risk. It is the ability to image the geology of flood-prone terrains and human settlements in them. This, in combination with other data like demographics and a history of flooding, can help in creating rescue plans. The reason why we chose this existing technology rather than to create a new one is because Nigeria is a poor nation and does not have the necessary financial requirements to fund with the newly developed disasters technologies. Nigeria was not at all ready for this natural disaster and therefore could not handle the situation rather well. With the minimal use of technology and the flood was named a natural disaster. Communication lines were jammed and there was lack of expertise to judge such a disaster. Now Nabeeha will talk about the response phase.
Hi, I'm Nabeeha Fatima, and I will be talking about how technologies can be used during the response phase. There are many technologies that can be used for providing assistance during the events of such natural disaster. One such technology is the Ushahidi platform. Basically, the Ushahidi platform is a tool that enables people to crowdsource information from various channels such as SMS, email, Twitter, and the web. There are many examples where Ushahidi map was set up for aiding the victims of natural disasters. One such example is the recent Japan earthquake, where a Japan recovery map was established within 2 hours of the earthquake to help search for survivors and provide vital information of safe spot and danger zones. The site enabled anyone with a mobile phone to post details of survivors or of any unsafe areas, which is then relayed to rescue operation. In turn, the site also posts easily accessible information on the nearest emergency service stations as well as locations of clean water supplies and food stores. In order to address the flood in Nigeria and meet the needs of the victim, a recovery map can be set up using the Ushahidi platform that would provide locations of important services such as food, water, toilets, fuel, ATMs, and medical care. Information can be gathered via Twitter, SMS, or email with respect to survivors or the unsafe areas. Now, it is very important to document the events so as to be prepared for future disasters and also for testing risk assessment modules against what has happened in real events. One of the way with which the event can be documented is using GSI, Geographic System Information. The GSI is designed to capture, store, manipulate, analyze, manage, and present all types of geographical data such as weather conditions. It can also be used to map all above ground utilities such as buildings, electric poles, trees, petrol pumps, and so on. The GSI can provide accurate data analysis with respect to the weather conditions and damage done to the various buildings and help in making proper decisions for mitigating such disasters. Communication is the first thing to go down in a crisis as people start jamming cell phone networks. It is also the most important, powerful force multiplier in rescue and relief. Hence, for the purpose of notifying people about the natural disaster, an external siren based warning system, particularly for the areas near the sea that will be most affected by the flood, should be built. Once a warning is sounded, it has to disseminate it to groups such as the volunteer organizations or government groups that will then take necessary action to meet the needs of the affected people.
The suggested technologies can continue to be used to support the victims and the country months after the natural disaster to assist the locals and the aid groups from abroad. In 2013, Nigeria's mobile penetration reached 70% of its population. This will make Ushahidi a successful platform for people to stay informed. Through Ushahidi's recovery map, the victims could be alerted about all sorts of vital information needed, such as set up locations of aid teams and new shelter homes for the victims who lost their homes. Shahidi can also be an important source for the aid groups to locate the areas that were damaged the most and help reconstruct homes in the areas that are no longer flooded. Ushahidi is a successful platform used in different crises around the world. It will continue to grow since it gathers and supplies the data needed to acquire the needs of people in the aftermath of a disaster. These are the ways to leverage the power of global information technology and systems to address major aspects of the natural disaster and to identify how these technologies could have been used.